All my albums, and unfortunately we don't have the vinyl, so we can't spin them, but hopefully these are some of the same ones that had been in your room growing up like they were in mine.
Yeah. Definitely this. I remember this album being altered, very altered at the time when we first listened to this, and thinking that it was him. I had the round glasses on and everything. So, can you hear us? Turn it up.
And you guys didn't have this. This is a rare UK Pink Floyd, kind of on this floppy paper. Well, let's begin by talking. What a lot of people don't know is that right outside of Benaroya Hall, right as we walked in, the artist entrance, is a wall of remembrance. And it's something that was put in Seattle to honor people who had died in other wars. And what people don't always know about you guys is you guys very much came from a military family. And when you're on stage, it's the Marines are represented.
Yeah, they are, and it's just our bloodline goes, way back through a couple of generations of different Marines and different wars, and it's too bad that we're still, fighting, especially in Korea. I mean, I'm glad, like I told Nancy the other day, I'm glad that our dad isn't alive to see Korea popping up its ugly head again, because that was his last. Anyway, to start off with a
Exactly.
I don't think that's the way to fix it, though. There's a song called "Dear Old America." That's on our Fanatic album, the last one we just made. It's all about that. Just in case you didn't hear it yet.
I mean, one thing that I think people don't remember, it's not just your dad that was a Marine. It was your uncle, it was your grandfather. It's been in the family bloodline forever. And if you guys had been born as males, in all likelihood, you would have been Wilsons that probably would have gone to Vietnam. And you would have been Marines. It would have been very hard to not have that happen.
There was a moment in the 70s that there was discussion of drafting girls of age into the Vietnam War. And I was of age at that moment. And that was a heavy thing to think about as a girl. But coming from our lineage of warriors, I was, debating about the conscientious objection aspect, the spiritual aspect of it, or being like my father and his father before him and going and honoring the country, sort of with blind optimism, Well, it's a good thing rock and roll came along then.
Well, rock and roll came in your house in the Beatles. When we look at and we talk about, John Lennon, we look at some of these Beatles albums, these really were albums that we're going to burn Benaroya Hall down. These are real candles too. We have wax damage to the symphony's table.
Sell it on eBay.
But we talk about in the book, there's a whole section about, you guys date. Seeing the Beatles is really the seminal moment, and I know that Sue Ennis says that it's still called, I can't remember, since the book's, is it called B-Day?
Oh, Beatle Day. Well, it was
1966. The Seattle Coliseum was
The evening show. The Green Suits.
yes, and we had a little band at the time, an all-girl foursome. We had our mother make us outfits that matched the Beatles outfits. She was a very good seamstress, and we had the navy blue double-breasted suits as well as the beige mandarin, military buttons, the Shea Stadium ones. Although we had to wear skirts instead, so that wasn't the best part.
I think one of the funniest stories was that your mom, you guys wanted to wear the exact same clothes the Beatles were wearing, but the Beatles had a couple of different outfits, and your mom had seen a picture in the paper and then just kind of took a guess and said, okay, we're going with this, and then you go and the Beatles are not wearing the same outfits you are.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. That way they could tell which ones were the Beatles and which ones were the Beatles, right? Just kidding. But it was kind of, looking back, it was pretty unusual for four girls in a band to send a memo around that we're going to the Beatles show and we're going to go as a band, and we're going to dress in our band uniforms. And so you look up in the second balcony and you see this little swatch of navy blue. Maybe Paul saw us. Maybe he noticed, like, what are those girls doing all dressed in blue?
I mean, a few of the people in the audience hopefully have read the book, but and hopefully a few more will be reading it while we're talking here. But one of the stories that I love that I didn't know going in, that you had actually won a contest in the newspaper for writing an essay on your remind me.
Why I Love the Beatles by Ann Wilson.
It was a writing contest, an essay contest, I think in the PI at the time, and a newspaper that has long since gone away. But it was for all kids in town in preparation for the Beatles show to write what you feel about the Beatles, and then who wins, and if you win, you get a free movie camera, and you get your picture in the paper. And it just so happened that I won, because the depth of my passion for the Beatles just shone through in this writing. So